What's good, everybody? It's your boy D Nice with I2G Hip Hop, back at it with another review. Today we're reviewing the new album from Jim Jones entitled The Landlord. Urge everyone like, comment, and subscribe. We are on I2G Hip Hop on YouTube. That's the letter I, number 2, letter G, hip hop, all one word. You can also check us out on the hip hop site Illuminati2G.com. That's the word Illuminati, number 2, letter G.com. Let's get right into it. Jim Jones' new album, Landlord, dropped. And Jim Jones has never been, kind of the most technically gifted rapper to emerge from New York, maybe even not even his own crew, Dipset. It's always it's got that Harlem swag, braggadocious. There's been many viral moments, either from Jim himself or Jim Jones fans, about how he's a better MC than Nas, or a better MC than Lloyd Banks, or different conversations that come up. But one thing I always respect about Jim Jones, he's very business savvy, and you got to have that swagger and confidence really to be a rapper. Whether others think that you're good enough, at least you got to believe in yourself. And I always respected that from him. His El Capo album is one of my favorite albums all time. From Jim Jones, my favorite from him, but just one of those really just dope all around albums, great production and dope lyrics. But on this album, The Landlord, Jim Jones, he doesn't chase trends or attempt to recapture the glory days of Diplomats. He just doubles down on the gritty street wisdom, that Harlem swagger and blue collar hustle that defined his career. And, across 17 tracks, Jimmy sounds comfortable in his own skin. Production leans heavily into, that rugged New York sound, soulful loops, and, hard-hitting drums from the opening track, Waiting for a Response. Dope, See the Change, featuring Mano and Dice Peso. Probably one of my favorite tracks off the album. Just dope chemistry between those three MCs. Fabulous had a dope guest appearance as well on Acting Like That. In the Car, featuring Young Blue and Cody Shane. It's very melodic without sacrificing, Jim Jones' gritty persona. Slow Motion reunites him with Fetty Wap. Also, one of my favorite tracks on that. Also, Where the Love At, Dave East and Dice Peso. Really dope. Like most albums, and I always say now, albums kind of play a little bit more like playlists. It can become a little repetitive on this Landlord album. Jim Jones always relied more on charisma, more than just lyricism. And by the second half, familiar themes, loyalty, betrayal, and street success, it kind of becomes a little bland and kind of blurs together. Hottest in the Room, Set Things Straight. They're not terrible songs, but just a little bland at most. The guest list is very expansive, but not every feature leaves a lasting impression. Like you do have your Fabulous, your Mano, and Dave East on their album. Some of the newer collaborators don't really distinguish themselves, just kind of feel like filler at times with the album. But this album is not trying to be Jim Jones' masterpiece, just another chapter in one of hip hop's most quietly consistent catalogs. Jim gives you very solid music. Like I said, it's not creme de la creme, but it's far from the worst. But it's a very consistent catalog that he's built up for himself. Jim Jones understands that longevity isn't built on reinvention for every album, but it's built on maintaining credibility. And The Landlord may not stand alongside Hustler's Poem, Wasted Talent, Fire Department, or again, El Chapo as his defining work. But it's another solid entry from an artist who has become one of New York's most dependable veterans. And so I would say out of 5, I would give this a solid 3.5 out of 5. Again, it's not one of Jim's best projects, but far from his worst. There's definitely a couple New York bangers that you can play on the ride here in the summertime. So again, I2G Hip Hop on YouTube, letter I, number 2, letter G, hip hop. Can also check us out on www.illuminati2g.com. Be on the lookout. We also have an upcoming review of the new Rick Ross album. So that should be coming here, I would say by tomorrow. And then, you know, if there's any artists that would like to have their music reviewed, hit us up, I2G radio at gmail.com. Letter I, number 2, letter G, radio, all one word, I2G radio at gmail.com. D Nice, I2G Hip Hop, signing off. Peace.